Hello and welcome to the Blue Podcast Network with a brand new show, The Road to the World Cup, where we focus and analyse the qualification campaigns of various nations looking to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. I'm joined by Henry and Rhys, who are with me today. First question, how are you getting on today?
Yeah, not too bad actually. Feeling quite good, feeling positive, excited to be delving into World Cup stuff. We haven't really spoken about World Cup stuff before on this podcast, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this new show. Looking forward to see how it goes. Looking forward to talk about World Cup and things like that. I'm excited. Let's get on with it.
And on the World Cup, what are your first memories of it and what does it mean to you?
My first memory, the World Cup was what got me into football. I remember watching Mexico versus Cameroon. That was my first ever game I ever watched in the World Cup. I think it was like 3-2 or something like that. Yeah, that's actually my first memory of the World Cup.
Yeah. Mine's a bit later. I'm a bit of a football late bloomer, as everyone knows. I remember vaguely Tuchel goal in South Africa, mainly because the commentary was fantastic. But my first kind of World Cup memory where I was actually paying proper attention... Yeah. You know what? Eric Dyer's penalty was pretty massive for me right at the start. And I know that sounds really weird to say, but going into it going, England don't win penalty shootouts. That's the reputation we've got. To absolutely smash that one away.
Especially conceding as late as we did.
Oh,
hope was lost by that point.
I was in a pub in Disneyland Paris. At the time, I was on a school trip. And I snuck away to a pub to watch the game. Whilst everyone else watched the fireworks and all that. And I was like, come on, England. But yeah.
I think for me, it would be 2014. Costa Rica. They were in a group with ourselves, Italy, Uruguay, stood no chance. Beat Italy, beat Uruguay in the first match 3-1, drew with us, and then they beat Greece in a penalty shootout and only got prevented from getting to the semi-finals by the Netherlands. Yeah. Tim Krul came on from the bench.
Yeah, remember that because they kept subbing goalkeepers.
Yeah.
That was
Krul, one of the best goalkeepers at taking penalties.
Exactly, 100%. Miss him. I think he's retired recently, hasn't he?
Who, Tim Krul?
I'm pretty sure he retired recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did a few seasons ago when they went to Prem as their backup.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, what a legend.
But the World Cup will be hosted in 3 nations, Canada, Mexico and the United States. Canada will have 2 host cities, being Toronto and Vancouver. Mexico have 3 in Guadalajara, Mexico City and Monterrey. And the United States have the remaining being Miami, Atlanta, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, LA, San Francisco Bay Area and Seattle. Just very quickly, 18 nations have already qualified for the World Cup, with 3 being automatic hosts, being Canada, Mexico and the USA from CONCACAF. From CONMEBOL, every nation so far that can qualify in the direct slots have been Argentina, Ecuador, Uruguay, Brazil, Paraguay and Colombia, with Bolivia going into the playoffs. UEFA, no nations have qualified so far. There are 16 direct slots there. In AFC, 6 out of the 8 nations in the direct slots have already qualified. That is Japan, Iran, South Korea, Australia, Uzbekistan and Jordan, with the latter 2 being debutants for the tournament. In Africa, 2 out of the 9 nations for the direct slots have already qualified, that being Morocco and Tunisia. And in OFC, which is Oceania, New Zealand have qualified. Just very quickly about the host nations, we'll talk about them one by one. Canada are the first one we're going to mention. They are currently ranked 26th in the world. Just a decade prior to this, they were 116th ranked in the world. So they're a nation that has rapidly climbed. In the Copa America, of course, it's a CONMEBOL tournament, but it was an edition hosted by the US in 2024. So they brought in a few other nations across the world.
Right, okay.
Canada were one of them. They got to the semi-finals. They lost the first game to Argentina in the group stage. They then drew with Chile, beat Peru 1-0, then qualified further through the tournament and only got knocked out by the eventual winners Argentina in the semi-finals. Right. But Canada, football's really advanced there. They've got the Canadian Premier League, which has started in 2019, got through COVID. They're expanding and creating new teams now, such as FC Supra, which are coming to Quebec. The first team from Quebec being there. Their manager, Jesse Marsh.
Yes.
Familiar
face.
I forgot the name. What? Yeah. It's a good thing to hear. He was quite good. I thought he had some good ideas. Obviously, didn't work out with Leeds, but it is what it is. Yeah. They've got a decent team calendar as well.
Yeah.
Alphonso Davies probably being the star of that team, but it's not just him. Like Taylor Buchanan, who's at Inter Milan recently, is there.
Jonathan David.
Obviously, he's got to move to Juventus. So they've got It's a team that's comparable to America in many ways, and in quality. They've got a few really big superstars.
I think if you look at the past Gold Cups and Nations League and CONCACAF, they've competed better than the United States and Mexico. They've been a side that's very much on the up. They didn't have the greatest campaign in the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup, they've been a bit shaky in their previous few campaigns. They look good, especially in friendlies at the minute.
And I'd rather have Jesse Marsch than... Is it still Berhalter in the United States?
No,
Pochettino. Oh, no, it's Poch, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, Poch is good as well. But yeah, we'll get onto him. But.
They did have John Herdman. That was the women's manager for Canada. He managed them in the 2015 Women's World Cup, which was in Canada. Left there, went to the men's side. He got them qualification for the first time since 86, I want to say, where it was hosted in Mexico.
Wow.
They scored a goal in the World Cup, but they were in a very hard group. They had Belgium, Morocco, and Croatia.
Oh, that is a tough group.
That's a very, very hard group to get out of. But they're looking very good. We'll move on to the United States. They're ranked 16th in the world. A decade ago, they were 27th. Of course, they are World Cup consistent.
Yeah, they're regular.
Yeah,
they tend to turn
They're
up.
regulars. They missed out in 2018. They should have qualified, but they lost in the final game to Trinidad and Tobago, and all the other results didn't go their way.
Yeah. Go on Trinidad.
But no, in the past World Cup, of course, they was in a group stage with us. They got knocked out in the round 16 to the Netherlands, who moved on to have a quite decent tournament in the end. And Greg Berhalter has left. He's now at Chicago Fire in the MLS. Pochettino, their new manager. What do you think of that?
He's a good coach. I think if you can get that team going, then they should do well. Again, US have massively progressed over the last few years. Pochettino, I think, is going to help do that. I think this is also a massive year for America because they've been massively building up for this. I feel like their team is probably the best in a very long time, possibly ever, really. So this is kind of an opportunity for them to kind of finally show.
I'd probably say ever.
Show their quality.
I'd agree ever. I think I can't think of a USA side that has ever been.
10 weren't bad.
Weren't bad.
They had, I think, bigger names.
Dempsey and Donovan, Brad Friedel.
Yeah.
That's probably about it. Whilst now I'd say that every position has a player of decent quality.
Very quick on Poch. Is this a department that you look at and go, this is very good for the United States to get? Or do you think he's only here for the World Cup? Afterwards, they're going to go back to square one. They've been constantly in and out of managers. Greg Berhalter was sacked, then was appointed again after an internal investigation.
Yeah.
So
that was a mess, by the way. Although Greg Berhalter, but also I don't feel like he's worth. I don't rate Greg personally. I don't think he was worth all that hassle. You probably could have just sacked him and said that he was incompetent, which he probably was.
Yeah.
Poch is a huge appointment.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a bit of both. I feel like this is the pinnacle of their cycle. Yeah. This is the peak, and they brought him in to hit that peak and to get them quite far into the World Cup. And then probably he'll leave for a European side again. I would assume.
Yeah,
I'm assuming the United job will be available by then, knowing my luck. But they won't be back at square one, but it will be the start of another cycle.
Do you not see that happening with Tuchel though? With England, do you see he's here for the World Cup and he won't stay after?
What's his how long is Tuchel's contract?
Till the end of the World Cup.
I think it's.
I thought it was longer than that.
I don't think it's excessively long.
Yeah.
It's not huge, but I feel like it's longer than just the World Cup. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I could see the same thing happening, yeah. But also, England, have they prepped for that?
Yeah.
Do they already have another candidate in mind? Do they want... I'm trying to think who else they can get.
Grandpa.
Oh, please. No. Please go out and get Pep Guardiola. Please let that be what you're waiting for. Yeah. His City contract to expire. That would be the perfect... I could actually start to... Do you know how good...
Do you reckon he would actually be England manager if he was actually offered the contract and said you can manage England? Do you reckon Pep would actually...
When he's done with City.
Or do you reckon he maybe...
When he feels like he's finished.
Do you reckon he maybe would be waiting out for like the Spain job or something like that?
If it's Catalan, I'm not sure if he would want to take the Spain job.
Yeah, that's true actually.
And also, I feel like they're very comfortable right now with their manager.
Yeah.
He feels like a long-term appointment.
And Spain have got a plethora of managers out there.
Exactly. I feel like the only other thing would be maybe Brazil, but I feel like Ancelotti's going to be there for a little bit now.
It's something we'll get into a bit later on.
But I feel like, he could... I feel like they probably wanted him before they got Tuchel.
Yeah.
And he said no. That would be my guess. And they're going to wait for him.
And then very quickly in Mexico, currently ranked 14th in the world, so the best out of the CONCACAF nations. Decade ago, ranked 16th, so quite even where they are now. It's the third time that Mexico have hosted the World Cup. No nation have hosted it more. But 2022 was the first time since 1990 that Mexico failed to reach the round 16 in the World Cup.
Yeah, they tend to be quite decent performers. They're always a bit of a people's champion, aren't they?
Ochoa in goal always comes as a hero for Mexico. I think at the moment I don't think he's got a club, and he's looking for a club. But he's looking for a club so he can play at the World Cup.
I know.
So someone take him, please.
Where was he briefly?
He was at AVS in Portugal.
Yeah,
They stayed up, but he had a contract at Burgos in Spain, second division. Walked out, didn't tell anyone. The club kept trying to contact him, but they've heard nothing back since.
Okay.
He just went into hiding for some reason, like randomly. But yeah, no, I reckon he'll find a club and he is who he is.
He's got to be there.
He'll smash it in Mexico.
You can't have a World Cup without Ochoa.
I think this might be his last one though.
Yeah,
Thinking about it.
He's upwards of like 39 in
He's older than that, mate. He's over 40.
Yeah.
There's no way Ochoa is not over 40.
But we'll look at CONMEBOL, so South America, because that's a qualification campaign that finished and recently. Argentina topped the group.
40.
40
Ecuador
yeah.
finished second. Colombia third on 28 points, as well as Uruguay in fourth, Brazil in fifth, and Paraguay in sixth. Paraguay back to the World Cup for the first time since 2010, where I believe they reached the quarterfinals or round of 16.
Was that not
They were knocked
them?
out to Spain.
Was that not them in the group stage at the 2018 World Cup?
No.
Who am I thinking of?
Peru, maybe?
No,
Peru
we
had
we
France.
played them.
Panama.
Not in the group.
Panama, you thinking of?
Panama.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
of Panama. Ignore me.
And Bolivia going to the playoffs. We'll get to that in a minute. But Ecuador, I think if we touch on them, they finished second on 29 points. They started the campaign with -3 points because in the last qualification campaign for the World Cup, they had a player that weren't officially registered with Ecuador. And I think a few South American nations tried to get them pulled out the World Cup. Didn't happen, but they got the 3-point deduction. But in their qualification campaign, of course, everyone played 18 games. They won 8, drew 8. They only lost twice. Argentina lost 4 times. They only lost twice. They did only score 14 goals, but they only conceded 5 in qualification.
Wow. Okay.
Has anyone else conceded more than them? In
Every other nation in
wow, that's incredible.
The best defensive. But I feel like that's this is their best team of all time.
Yes.
I think we can 100%
100%.
say that. Yeah. We're talking Caicedo probably being the linchpin of that. And there's another midfielder as well. Who is it? What am I thinking of? Kenji Paez, am I thinking of him?
They've got one, I think, that plays for Chelsea or in the Chelsea ranks.
Yeah, Kenji Paez,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. But they have got other players as well. So it is a fantastic team. Do you know what? I'm really, really surprised about Chile, though. How
that's
poor
something
they've
I wanted to
performed.
2010, they qualified. 2014, they qualified. They was in a group with Spain, Netherlands, and Australia. They beat Australia 3-1. They beat Spain 2-0 to knock Spain out.
Yeah.
Lost narrowly to Netherlands. I think it was 3-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
They only got knocked out in a penalty shootout to Brazil in the round of 16. But if you look at that squad, Alexis Sanchez.
I was going to
Vidal,
say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the-
You
What's his
had
name?
Vargas.
Vargas
in goal.
Yeah.
What a team.
2018, they just missed out because Peru, their rivals, beat Colombia on the last day.
That was it.
But they've not been back to a World Cup since. And we spoke about the Copa America earlier on. They finished third. They didn't score a single goal in the campaign. They're a nation in limbo at the minute, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Alexis Sanchez is still playing for
Still
them.
there. He's still
He's
playing
at
for them.
Sevilla now, isn't he? I think.
At Sevilla, yeah.
Yeah.
Transfer there.
So, but he's getting on a bit now.
He's close to 40, I'm pretty sure. He's not far off
probably
it.
like mid-30s now.
30, 35 to 40,
Yeah.
something like that. But
There's
there's nothing coming through.
That's the thing. There's no talent coming through Chile. There's no star player to kind of hope for.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've just gone backwards, and I'm really kind of shocked. I like Chile when it came through. Obviously, seeing Sanchez coming through at Arsenal,
exactly, yeah.
so I've
I had a soft spot for them.
always had a soft spot for Chile. So in a way, to see him being so poor now, it's like very strange. But yeah, there's just no talent coming through at Chile at the moment.
There is a young midfielder called I forget his first name, but his surname's Pizarro, who's coming through at Colo Colo, who has a little bit of potential and has a bit of reputation around
But
him
is
as being
this
quite good.
Not the issue that they're all based in the Chilean league. They're not.
No one's coming over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is a huge part of South America is Chile. Is obviously people speak about Brazil and Argentina because of the history, but Chile is a huge, physically the landmass.
You've got big teams there. You've got Colo Colo. You've got Universidad de Chile. You've got some big.
There are some huge teams who have good reputations in South American competitions that have won these competitions reasonably recently, I feel like, if I remember rightly. So I'm surprised that they're not being able to bring players through that other teams are looking at. No one seems to be looking there at the moment.
But that's the thing. Is Chile actually pushing football in their country at all? Is there not any like financial situations with the country where they're restricting that? I know. I think Bulgaria or Hungary they're not pushing football as much, and with that, their academy systems are getting impacted by that.
Well,
So I don't know.
Very good in the past in '94.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the same situation with Chile. I don't know the political stance of Chile, but because it's strange because they brought through so much talent,
So much.
and then now it's where are they?
Then Venezuela, they finished 8th, the only country to not qualify from the South Cup from CONMEBOL before.
Yeah.
Bolivia beat them to get into that final spot in the final day. Venezuela, they took the lead twice in a 6-3 loss to Colombia. And it was Bolivia that won at home. They always win at home because of the altitude difference. They beat Brazil 1-0 and was able to take that final spot. So, quick note on Brazil. Do you think they'll be better under Ancelotti?
I'd assume so. I expect so.
Yeah.
This is a World Cup iconic nation, potentially the best of all. This is
best of all.
I'd equivalent them to the Real Madrid of nations, in my opinion. I expect better. I expect more. I expect them to play their football their way. I expect favela football, conga football, that kind of flair, that excitement, that tiki-taka style, that kind of go out there and try and kick teams to death. I've not seen it.
Is this though?
I've not seen it.
Does this World Cup have to be their turning point? Because
Yes.
2014, it was in their backyard, thrashed 7-1 by Germany, and they weren't convincing in that World Cup. 2018, they got to the quarterfinals, knocked out against Belgium 3-0.
Yep.
They got knocked out in the quarterfinals 2022 World Cup to Croatia in a penalty shootout.
Yep.
Does this have to be one where they have to make that progress? Because you've brought in one of the best managers you could ever ask for.
The best manager you can ask for at the moment.
Yeah.
I guess so. They have to do it because they've been poor the last few years. Brazil, as I said, a bit like Real Madrid, you expect them to win things. I think that's the same with Brazil. But I just don't think the quality is really there in that squad as what it was.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of talk around who's going to be their starting striker.
Yeah.
In Brazil, who, Richarlison.
No.
That's the thing. There's
Christ, no.
There's none of that number 9. And
Come
to be
on.
fair, Brazil haven't really had a proper number 9 for many years now.
There are some coming through. Gabigol is still around, who scores goals in Brazil for fun.
Yeah.
Flamengo have a striker, I forget his name, but he's very quality. He scores goals. Pedro, there you go, that's the one. There are players out there. As long as it's not Richarlison, please don't be Richarlison. I swear to God.
You might be because like
I'd rather have João Pedro, or rather play Vinny up front or something. Like anything other than that.
yeah.
The pigeon.
I guess in a way you want Vinny out on the left. That's where he's.
Well, you have other play. You could play Rodrigo there and bring Rafinha in, for example, or you could play Martinelli there. There are other options. I'd much rather give minutes to Martinelli than I would give minutes to what's his name again? Pigeon Man, the very famous Tottenham superhero.
And then
But what I would say, last point, and then I'll leave you alone. This feels like Brazil have not recovered from their loss to Germany.
Yeah.
This is where you show us the football's back.
Yeah.
And then very quickly, because we have to move on, Argentina. Do you think they could win it back to back? Because a lot of their players now play in
Messi,
and
yes or no?
I think as long as Messi's around, there's always a chance.
Is he around?
No matter how old he is or anything, just his influence, just his presence on the football pitch. Even if he's as half as good, he just still has that. They're just doing it for Messi. That's the reason why they won.
I always
in
think
22.
if I were to link this to PSG, his escape from the Argentina national team when they lost in the Copa America final in 2015 to Chile and in 2016, both on penalties.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Barcelona was escape from the pressure of the national team, especially after losing to the 2014 World Cup. I think when he went to PSG, it was almost that Argentina was the escape from PSG and the club football there. Now he's won the World Cup. He's reached that pinnacle.
I think that the rest of the team has not progressed.
Right.
I don't know if Messi's going to be there or how good he's going to be when it arrives.
Yeah.
So I'm not sold. I wouldn't say they're favourites.
No.
Do you know what? Weirdly enough, based on the PSG thing and a couple other factors, I could really see Portugal taking this one. Imagine if Ronaldo levelled it in the last World Cup.
Now, do you think? As in how
the likes, that midfield, that Portuguese midfield, Bruno, Vitinha and João Neves.
Yeah.
Imagine Ronaldo equalises World Cups in the last World Cup. And imagine that debate after that. Like, you could genuinely go back to debating who's better, Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah.
in the last minute equaliser.
Yeah.
Like, it could be huge, but who knows?
So we're going to move on to CONCACAF. So, of course, the three nations have already qualified, being Canada, the United States and Mexico. This is the final round of qualification. So in Group A, you've got Suriname that leaves the way after 2 games. They're on 4 points. They're the lowest ranked side in this group, ranked 131st. Then El Salvador on 3 points, Panama on 2, and Guatemala on 1. In Group B, you've got Jamaica, led now by Steve McLaren, of course.
Yes, United fame.
2 wins from 2 so far, so they top Group B. Curacao, managed by Dick Advocat, used to manage Sunderland.
He did, yeah. Remember him well.
They are on 4 points. They drew to Trinidad and beat Bermuda. Trinidad's on 1 point, and then Bermuda are bottom, but it's the first time they've ever got to this stage.
Yeah.
And then in Group C, Honduras leads the way, then Costa Rica, who've drawn 2 matches. Those 2 draws being to Haiti and Nicaragua, who sit in 3rd and 4th respectively. So they've not had the start they've wanted. I think you can say that for Panama as well. But just to touch on Curacao, a lot of the players there have got Dutch roots. Is this a way that maybe you could see other nations tapping into more to progress?
Yeah, 100%. It's the way that a lot of nations have grown in the past. Scotland feed on England all the time. Same with Ireland. Try and tick our best players. Hands off Declan Rice, though. But it's known to be effective.
Yeah.
It is known to be
I think
effective.
Indonesia have done it as well. Quite a lot of them.
Exactly.
Their manager now, Patrick Kluivert,
Yeah.
will get in.
Elkan Baggett at the back, huge.
Yeah.
Have you seen the size of him? He's absolutely massive. Yeah, if this is the way you win, this is the way you win. And Curacao now have a fantastic team. You've got the Bacuna brothers, Dave Chong.
Yeah.
There's another guy, I forget his name. It'll come back to me. But they have got a fantastic team. I wish Jamie were here to talk about this because obviously he's Curaçaoan and knows about a lot more about this stuff. Yeah. But if only they weren't put in a group with Jamaica. That's the one, because I reckon they win either one of these other groups. And that's why Group B is probably the most interesting.
Well, from the groups that we've mentioned, who do you think will qualify? I would have said Panama, Jamaica, and Costa Rica beforehand. Panama, of course, got to the Gold Cup final. They beat the US. They beat the US quite often. They've not had the start they would have wanted. Costa Rica have drawn against 2 worst teams in the group.
But look at what's happened already. You have to look at that and go, maybe Suriname have got it in them. They've just got to hold out for 2 more games and they're through. Jamaica are the set, I think. Annoyingly, Curacao I don't think are going to do it just because of how strong Jamaica are.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't know if it is possible for them to qualify, isn't it? Yeah, if they win both of the next games. Okay.
Well, Curacao have got Jamaica at home next match.
Okay, so it's at home. So there is a chance, but they have to win that one, and Jamaica have to lose their other game.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, they've still.
No, they don't.
They've still got another 4 games to play, so there's a long way to go.
No, they don't. And also, if Curacao beat Jamaica, they go above them.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a huge game coming up. That is I might have to watch that because that's going to be fantastic. But Jamaica have such a strong side, and it might even get stronger. They're bringing some other players in as well. Obviously, a lot of Jamaicans in England, so they tend to bring a few players in from academies over here. And then the other group, third group.
That's Honduras, Costa Rica, Haiti.
Yeah,
Honduras have Costa Rica. Of course, Honduras last qualified 2014. They were with France.
It could be any of them.
Ecuador.
I don't see that being a strong group, and I don't see any of them really making an impact, if I'm being brutally honest. It could be either of them.
So we'll jump onto OFC very quickly. New Zealand qualified.
That's
first
huge.
round of qualification. New Caledonia and Fiji won Group A. In Group B, New Zealand and Tahiti qualified. So then you have a semi-final, then a final.
Okay.
New Caledonia beat Tahiti, New Zealand beat Fiji, and then the final, New Zealand won 3-0. It did take some time to get that goal, but they eventually got it, and then the other 2 came. Again, their first World Cup since 2010, where they was the only nation not to lose a game.
Really?
2010 World Cup, Spain lost to Switzerland in their opening game. New Zealand drew all 3. To, I believe,
That's winnable.
Italy, who were the holders at the time, Paraguay, and Slovakia.
Wow. Okay.
So,
I forgot about that. Who have they got at the moment? They've got Chris Wood, haven't they? Obviously, Chris Wood. Is there anyone else we'd know?
They've got a goalkeeper who is part of the Bournemouth group because, of course, they've got a few teams.
Alex Paulson.
Yes,
I remember him. And they've got Kakai,
Yep.
who plays for Parma.
Possibly.
Yeah, I think I've got that right. And there's a fullback who plays for.
They've got Elliot Just as well, who plays somewhere. I think in the.
Who is it? There's a fullback who plays for, I think, Leeds. Did he go to or Sunderland? Went to Wrexham. Sorry, thank you. That's his name, Kakache. So they have got some players that I know. They feel like I'm a big rugby fan. New Zealand rugby is huge, and they are the best team in the world.
Yeah.
I'd love to see them do the haka before a football match. That would this team is a little bit of an underdog, and I'm looking forward to seeing them play the World Cup.
Well, that final game where they won, it took place in New Zealand. One-legged game, 3-0 win in Wellington at the Sky Stadium. We're going to now link this onto AFC. We don't have too much time, so we're going to try and get through this as quick as possible. They had the third round. So in Group A, Iran and Uzbekistan qualified. Uzbekistan, the first time they've qualified for the World Cup.
Wow.
They've come close. 2010, 2014 and 2018, they were just 1 or 2 points off qualification. I think on one occasion, they got beat by South Korea by a single point. Why they didn't qualify.
Wow.
And then UAE, Qatar go into the next round. Kyrgyzstan and North Korea have been eliminated. In Group B, South Korea and Jordan have qualified. Iraq and Oman go into the, again, World Cup playoff next stage. And then Palestine and Kuwait have been eliminated. And then in Group C, Japan, the first nation to qualify for the World Cup that weren't hosts. They've been completely dominant. They look fantastic.
Japan are a fantastic team at the moment.
Fantastic.
Their work in Scotland specifically and how that's transitioning over now to England is great. They've got some good players coming through.
And then Australia qualified. They've got a new manager, Popovic. Then Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, they go into the next stage qualification. And then China and Bahrain have been eliminated. And like I said, Uzbekistan and Jordan are the first debutants to have reached this World Cup.
I'm quite surprised that China haven't done anything. I would give it again. I'm going based on land mass here and the fact that they invested so heavily in sport a few years ago. I'm surprised they're not picked up anything.
Far.
True.
But a few managers have been appointed to. You may have heard a few of them.
Here we go.
Qatar, Julian Lopetegui.
Really?
Formerly at Wolves, formerly at West Ham, most recently.
Yeah, kept Wolves in the Premier League somehow. That's why.
That's a crazy
I
impression.
suppose.
That one I didn't know before you told. A few of these you're going to say I do already know. That's why.
Well, he's had 2 games. He won the first one 1-0 for Qatar, but then they lost the second 3-0 against Uzbekistan.
Wow.
They were qualified by that stage, but
Even so,
That in
you
the
shouldn't
final.
be. Yeah.
you would like to see maybe.
Given they were at the last World Cup
Yeah,
as hosts, but they performed reasonably well.
they won the Asian Cup
And they won the
in
Asian Cup.
2023.
Yeah.
I think they've won it back to back. They beat Japan in 2019 as well. So
They're good side.
Yeah.
very good manager to bring in.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Lopetegui. I know it didn't work at West Ham, but from what he did at
West Ham's a
Sevilla,
weird
Yeah.
place, though.
I think if you're
Somehow only David Moyes wins. It's weird.
if
I don't
you're
get it.
taking
Or Sam
over,
Allardyce.
Or Sam Allardyce, yeah.
taking over from a manager that was divisive, that was successful, but also
Yeah.
in the last 6 months probably had to go, but was divisive there. That manager never quite works.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like Emery with Wenger, very much divided. It's hard to continue, continue onwards. But then Hervé Renard, Saudi Arabia manager, if you've heard of him, he was a Saudi Arabia manager that beat Argentina in the last World
Yes.
Cup.
Yes.
Left them to go to the France women's team, got to the quarterfinals
Yes, that was it.
of the World Cup, and have only just gone back to Saudi Arabia. Someone you've definitely heard of, Indonesia, with Patrick Kluivert.
Yes.
the new manager.
Yes.
Yes, I did know that, but that is
It's
quite a funny one.
weird appointment because they were doing very, very well.
Yeah,
They
and
sacked their manager
Yeah.
because the ASEAN Games, which is like with all the nations like Thailand and Vietnam, who I think went on to win it, they didn't perform well there, but they weren't a fantastic place to qualify at the stage. So does that stuff that make sense? What do you prioritise?
I don't know if it was a better manager. I just don't think Patrick Kluivert's shown that much managerial capability yet, but we'll see.
And then Graham Arnold, who managed Australia in the last World Cup, he's now gone to Iraq, who again, they were close to qualifying on a few occasions.
Can I say was that I believe Uzbekistan, I think they're linked with Cannavaro.
Cannavaro, yeah.
Yes, I did see that one.
Which is a
They
mega
were linked with Lowe as well, the former Germany manager
Wow,
of the
hello.
World Cup.
Yeah, I
that
feel
was
like he's retired though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you not be a bit insulted if you were the Uzbekistan manager? You've done
What
all the
he's
hard work.
and then
now
someone
get
else is going to
out.
come in and take it over. But
Yeah.
suppose I'm sure he'll be
Suppose it's
happily
Yeah.
qualify.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
But then we'll talk about the next round. So let's get back there. After the draw was conducted with these 6 teams, Qatar, the UAE, and Oman were drawn in Group A. Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Indonesia in Group B. But this is where there's quite a lot of controversy. All matches in Group A are played in Qatar. They qualified 4th in their group. UAE did better than them. This was just a host that was selected, not a neutral, shall we say.
Yeah.
Into this. They've got full advantage here. They've also got Oman in the group. On top of this, Qatar face Oman in the first day. They only face each other once. So they face each other on the first match week. Then they have a 6-day rest period before they face the United Arab Emirates. Within that stage, Oman face the UAE. and then the UAE has to face Qatar at the end. So they only have a 3-day period between both matches. That's the same for Saudi Arabia. Of course, they're the host of Group B matches. I suppose infrastructure-wise, they are the best. But on top of this, is it fair that they not only get the most rest time, but are also hosting the final stages when they're not neutral? Because not like Japan or South Korea or Australia don't have the infrastructure. They do.
That is odd.
Yeah,
but it screams to me. I would not be surprised if it was a bit of this going under the table.
Possibly.
I feel like, but this is the thing with these kind of nations at the moment, is they're hosting everything. Everything's going there. Boxing, football, rugby want to go there. Like everyone wants to go out these places. They probably just want to push these nations because they're the ones that are kind of pioneering with sport. But it screams a little bit of.
And I know
we're not. This screams at something that is slightly scripted.
Yeah,
But
I know a lot of Indonesia fans were quite annoyed. And if you were the UAE, you beat Qatar 5-0
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah.
Now you've only got a 3-day rest period. You would like to have thought this is a game and now we can qualify for the first.
Yeah, the 3-day
World
rest
Cup
period
ages.
is almost it's so bizarre, especially in a country that has very little shade and it's very hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird for me.
So we'll move on finally to Africa, so the CAF qualification campaign. 2 nations have qualified, Morocco, as expected.
Yeah.
And Tunisia, who've qualified now for the last 2 World Cups. Of course, they was in our group in 2018.
They were indeed.
Yes.
How qualification stands, Egypt are all but confirmed. I think they've just got to get a next point. Burkina Faso are 5 points behind, so they should qualify. Senegal as well, they beat the DR Congo, Democratic Republic of the Congo,
Have they taken
3-2.
Wan-Bissaka now?
Yes.
Yes,
they've
he is
got
there now.
They have got Wan-Bissaka now. Okay.
If Congo were winning 2-0, if they would have won, they would have been in the driving seat to qualify. The last time they qualified, they were known as Zaire. I think it was 74. If you remember, they played Brazil. Zaire conceded free kick and the player run up and kicked the ball away. If you remember that World Cup moment. That
was them.
Yeah, that was them.
No.
Damn, and they've not been back since.
They've not been back since.
Okay.
No, Benin now leads the way in Group C. South Africa were winning. I think only yesterday they got a 3-point deduction. So
Right, okay.
Benin now lead the way. Nigeria are in third in that group. They probably won't qualify because only the only the 4th best second placed finishes
Yeah.
across all the groups advance. So even if Nigeria does finish second, if they're not one of the best, they're not the top 4 who finished out of all the second place teams, they won't qualify. And at the minute, they're on 11 points. The very worst team are Tanzania. And that's because Eritrea pulled out qualification. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen there. 'Cause they've had games left. Another major talking point, Cape Verde. Beat Cameroon, of course.
Yes.
They are a win away from qualifying for their first ever World Cup.
Wow, that is huge for them. Who have they got? They've got some big players as well, Cape Verde, haven't they?
I'm not too sure. If I'm honest, I'm not too sure. But I know they've done well. They haven't qualified for AFCON, I don't believe. Previous AFCON campaigns, they've done very well.
Who have Cape Verde got? I swear they've got a big. Have they got Bebe? Is Bebe Cape Verde now? I'm pretty sure he is. There's a couple. They've got a good link to Portugal. I'm pretty certain Cape Verde do. That is huge for them if they're able to get over the line.
Of course, if Cameroon drop points as well.
Yeah.
I know that Cape Verde have got Libya to play.
Okay.
Libya's in third.
You'd think they could win that.
Yeah, and then I believe Cape Verde's got Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, who are bottom of the qualification campaign. They haven't won a game yet. They've won 2 points. So you would like to think Cape Verde,
Yeah.
unless something drastic happens, have qualified. Of course, Morocco have qualified. Ivory Coast lead the way in Group F by a single point over Gabon. Of course, with Aubameyang, they've got a few other decent players. They're still
Mario
strong.
Lemina, if I remember rightly.
Yes. Group G, Algeria lead the way. They didn't qualify for the last World Cup.
And that was quite controversial because they've got a good team.
Yeah.
Away goals, they didn't qualify. Away goals in extra time.
Yeah.
Proceeded to Cameroon.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we said Tunisia have qualified. And then Ghana lead the way in Group I. Madagascar in second. But Ghana are not in AFCON. Of course. I think Chris Hooton was their manager. Not now, but I think he was Ghana's manager.
I forgot about that.
Wow.
That's funny.
And then the runners-up, as it stands, going through are Gabon, Madagascar, DR Congo, and Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso as well a very good side.
Imagine if Madagascar went to a World Cup. I think I saw some clips on TikTok about
Alex
it.
yeah, I saw clips as well.
the
The
line-
lineup, Alex up front.
Alex up front,
Gloria
King
in
Julian
midfield.
at the back. It's amazing.
Yeah.
So, out of all these nations, of course, Africa's coming up. So, who do you think would stand the best chance? If we take out Morocco and Tunisia, who's qualified,
Yeah.
out of the nations that said when they qualify, who do you think would stand the best chance?
Okay, let me have a think. I feel like Africa are a very strong contingent. There are some good teams in Africa at the
Senegal
moment.
previously. have been
Senegal,
very good.
Cameroon, Nigeria, Morocco, Egypt even, although not maybe as strong, but Salah is what it is. Of the teams that are currently qualified, I'll just quickly grab the
Table
iPad.
of teams.
I'd say Senegal probably are the strongest.
Yep.
That haven't already
Yeah.
qualified, but obviously Ivory Coast we know all about them,
Yep.
and Ghana I say were also strong.
Well, they haven't qualified. Of course, Ghana qualified for the last World Cup.
Yeah.
Ivory Coast, the last time, that was 2014.
Wow.
They were.
And you got
group-
their team is
yeah,
incredible as
completely
well.
different. They were in a group with Colombia, Japan, and Greece.
Yeah, because everyone used to play with Ivory Coast because they always had really fast
Really
players.
fast players,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Cameroon, I'm surprised Cameroon aren't higher up there because they also have a fantastic team. They always
Yeah.
do. But
Yeah.
right now, I'd go Senegal.
Yeah, I
You go
think,
Senegal.
I think you have to go Senegal with just the quality in that side.
Yeah.
But I say I think
But
Algeria can do something.
I'd probably say
Ghana can do
Morocco
something.
over them, but obviously they've already qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, European campaigns are very much underway. England, I think we're a win or point away from qualification.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we can't be far off it at this point. We know we always crush qualification and then do nothing at the World Cup.
Yeah.
But I think we have run out for time there. So thanks
Yes.
very much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and like the video to the Blue Podcast Network, and we hope we'll see you again in 2 weeks' time, where we do a review of the World Cup.